Welcome to episode 3 of our What Works for WELLTI in Dubai Insights and Research series. Hi, I'm Timothy Maurice. In this third episode, we sit down with Ms. Joann J. Hill, who is the Chief of the Office of Business Development for the U.S. Department of Commerce, MBDA. Ms. Hill is responsible for the creation and implementation of strategies for business development in the areas of access to capital, access to contracts, emerging domestic and international markets, as well as supply chains. In this conversation, we explore her passions for women's leadership and her commitment to WELLTI. Meet Joann J. Hill. Enjoy. I am delighted to have Joann Hill with me in this episode. Welcome, Joann.
Thank you, Tim. It's an honor to be here.
We really appreciate you making time out of your busy schedule. Please share your role and what it means to be a woman in your role.
So, in my role as Chief of the Office of Business Development for the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency, I help to grow and expand MBEs through our national network of business centers, programs, and initiatives that are located throughout the U.S. And what it means to me as a woman to be in this role is opportunity. Opportunity that projects women in entrepreneurship. As you know, women are growing the economy, both here domestically and internationally, significantly. And to be in this role, to be an inspiration, and to be at the forefront of what is driving the U.S. economy, it's really critical and important.
You know, one of the themes that keep coming up is, I think one of our consul general here in Dubai from the U.S. is the first woman. So many first and so many women are either first or second. Do you know how many women have had your role?
To my knowledge, and I've been with the agency now for 22 years. In the 22 years that I've been at the agency, I'm the second.
Wow, imagine. And there's so much opportunity, you know, to learn from what it took to get you to this point, and hopefully we can share a little bit of that in a moment. What does WELLTI and its mission mean to you?
So WELLTI is very important. I had the opportunity to work very closely with the Deputy Assistant Secretary, Camille Richardson, for the establishment, the whole genesis and evolution of WELLTI. And what it means is that there are now programs and initiatives that are specifically targeted at U.S. women exporters that can facilitate B2B linkages with women and exporters here, both in the UAE and Africa and the U.S. And so no longer is it something where it comes across as taboo. And, you know, how do you do this? And what are the programs and resources? And are there any U.S. partners that we can work with? It is very obvious and very clear because now we have WELLTI that is in place and anchored, and I suspect that with this being the first under that brand, there will be a lot more to come. Wow. And when you think about the small businesses in America who are interested in going international and the women who run those businesses, you would encourage them to plug into WELLTI's network, basically. Absolutely. I would encourage them to plug into the WELLTI network. For those that are in the United States, I would also encourage them to plug into the MBDA export centers. We have 4 MBDA export centers. You can learn more about those by visiting our website at mbda.gov. But we have one notably that's in Miami, the Miami MBDA Export Center. We have one that's also located in San Antonio. We have another one located in Houston and Arizona. And then we also have a national network of U.S. Export Assistance Centers that the International Trade Administration houses. There are over 100 of those located throughout the U.S.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And these export centers, their primary goal is to give you
the understanding, the kind of the blueprint, or what if you look at the hierarchy of goals of these export
Sure.
centers, what are they?
Fundamentally, they're designed to help facilitate your growing your global footprint. And so they do that through providing market intelligence and research. So if you are a new to export, or you're currently exporting to one nation, but you'd like to expand your global footprint because everything's going global now, that's what they're there to do. For those that are already exporting, they can also help you with commercial diplomacy as needed. And if you're a U.S.-based company wanting to do business with the federal government in a foreign nation, they can also help you with advocacy to ensure that you're getting a fair chance, if you will, at competing for global contracts.
Wow. I mean, the resources are there. You guys are putting in hard work to make sure people have real tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
How important is representation? When you travel the world and you see other business leaders,
mm-hmm.
how important is it to you to see other women who look like you?
Absolutely. Very important, because people like to do business with people who they know, right? And people where they feel like there's a kindred-like connection, whether it be through linguistic ties, cultural ties, etc. And so it's important that we have diversity. Diversity is really critical. And when you see another woman of color, or a man of color, if you will, a person of color, generally speaking, oftentimes, whether it's a spoken or just a tacit knowledge, there's a natural connection and affinity. And so it does matter. I think, business is business, to be clear. But it certainly helps to bring about an unspoken level of comfort sometimes, and you feel like they can understand me a little better, if you will, and that's a fact.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about. I've got two more questions and we're going to wrap. But I want to know a little bit more about your own leadership skills. A number of skills, maybe if you can one or two, that you've honed over the years to get to this point. I don't know a lot, but I know it has not been easy to get to this level.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the second woman in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you do it, you handle your position with a level of class and grace. What are a couple of things you've learned to get to this level and to be operating the way you do?
Sure. One of the things that I've learned are relationships are priceless. And you have to really build and cultivate and cherish those relationships. The second is a combination of character and integrity, because that's what you're known by, right? The manner in which you comport yourself, the manner in which you do business, handle relationships, speaks to your integrity. And those are some of the qualities that I feel have helped to build the pathway that's led to me serving in the leadership role that I serve in right now, and that have kept me, in this role, and to really be ingratiated by the invitation to participate in events like this conference, this summit here in Dubai.
What would you say to your 20-year-old self about how you've gotten here? What would you say to her? Would you encourage her? Would you pat her on the back? Would you give her a hug? If you had a chance to sit with her, what would you say to her?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. I would say follow your dreams. Never give up. Yes, life stuff happens, and there will be some bumps along the way. But know that you should always be self-confident. Don't ever doubt yourself. And if you can dream it and believe it, you can be it.
Wow.
The sky is the limit.
Wow. Joann Hill, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. It means a lot.
Thank you, Tim. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you.
A huge thanks to Ms. Joann J for her dedication and insights around women's entrepreneurship. Our entire team at MBDA is extremely grateful for your extraordinary leadership. You can find out more about MBDA by going to mbda.gov and more at WELLTI by visiting trade.gov. In the coming episodes, you'll hear from the entrepreneurs and other partners. Until next time.